from here, we'll go to roll call and I'm Vice Chair Scott Nagata. I'm here. Committee member Ruth Smith. She's not on.
I'm here.
She's
Are you
online.
Oh,
I'm online. I'm the Palm from.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Committee member Julia Olives.
Present.
William Sanborn. Does Sanborn?
I'm here.
Yep. Karen Anderson.
Here.
And Chair Trustee. Trustees here. Okay.
Thank you.
Absent today is Kevin McLaughlin and Peter P. Hendricks. From the county, we have our planning department staff, Marian Palma and Jessica Lang. Some housekeeping. Please make sure your cell phones are turned off or on silent. If there's anyone here who'd like to testify, please fill out the sign up form, which is on the table back there, and give it to our staff. Zoom testifiers then send a message in the chat to the Zoom host indicating which item they wish to testify on. We ask that everyone else please state your name before speaking. And to all of us who are attending here in person, please remember to speak towards the owl, which is this little guy right here, owl camera, and so everyone on Zoom can hear. Okay. So, this time is 5:11, and the committee now will consider approving the October 28th, 2024 minutes. And so if I could ask for a motion to approve
I
the
move
minutes.
to approve the minutes of the October 28th meeting.
I second that.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. And it's been moved by all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so motion carries unanimously. Moving on to number 3 on our agenda is public testimony on agenda items. And time is 5:12. The committee will now call for statements from the public. As stated in the published agenda, members of the public may provide public testimony regarding any agenda item now or at the time of the agenda item is called to order. If there's anyone here who would like to testify, you can fill out the forms at the table. Do we have any?
We're testifying back here, but we're going to testify
During that part, okay. Right. Any other ones? Any? Mary?
Chair, just wanted to let everybody know that if you raise your hand, we might appoint you to something, so be real careful.
Anybody on Zoom?
Hi, Scott. This is Jojo.
Yes, okay, Jojo Tanimoto.
I sent my testimony in today, and I don't know if you got it or not. I just wanted to include it in the minutes for tonight's meeting.
Okay. I have not looked at it yet. Sorry. Did you
get it? Did you get it?
Let me see.
Or did you want me to read it?
Maybe if you could read it, that would be better. Since
Okay. Okay, so aloha. My name is Jojo Tanimoto, and I live in Kauai High in the Kailapa subdivision. We still have no representation from Kauai High District on this CDP. First, I would like to mahalo the Hawaiian Civic Club for hosting the Department of Water Supply next week. This portion is from the announcements on the agenda. Second, I'd like to point out the conflicting schedules with the Commission of Water Management being held in Kohala right now, same time, about the same issue, and that is access to water. Third, I'd like to request to the Water Board. I did about 2 months ago make a testimony for access to water from the Lalamilo 10 million gallon project in South Kohala. I got no response. I sent emails to the director and deputy director, got no response. I would appreciate getting an answer from the water department. That's an error I wrote, water department, and the planning department for our community. Fourth, I'd like to make note to the planning department about the O'Uli well availability to Kauai High in the CDP document. That is no longer available because it is going to Hapuna. However, I just read in a newspaper for the Planning Commission that the Hapuna water is going to the Queen Emma development project just above us. And so I think the document is wrong. It needs to be updated. It's important to know what water alternatives have been made for DHHL in Kauai High and their near future developments, because we got a lot of developments that's already planned. Fifth, the CDP document also includes traffic safety. Although the Firewise project has done a great job here in Kauai High, their project has fenced the Kailapa subdivision entirely. They have trapped us without any evacuation plans. We would appreciate working with them and with your group and the planning department to figure out how we're going to get out of here in case of emergency. Mahalo for the opportunity to update and share with this committee. We'd appreciate any help. Any questions?
I have a couple. Jojo, when did you send that letter to the director and the deputy director? Was that before the election?
2 months ago, when we had the meeting, it was said that they would be contacting me. I followed up, yes, with an email to the director as well as the deputy director, and got no response since.
You should resend it to the new people.
Yeah, there's different people there now, so.
Yeah, readdress it to the current people and send it to them.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Just a comment I want to make on the evacuation plan. I know that the civil defense and the county's posture has always been, it's the responsibility of the communities and not the county to come up with it, because Waikoloa Village has gone through this renumerations of editing and revising for years, and you know, just my comment on us all being out alone on our own to try to figure out how we're going to get out of here. And I've expressed it to civil defense that they should be this focal point, and every single community should have their evacuation plans on their designated website. And if they don't have to approve it, but at least it's a place for everyone to go in the event of an emergency, instead of, you know, trying to figure out where to find the evacuation plan for them. Maybe if you go to an off, you know, not a county, like how would they say you're getting moved to another site? It's not a county site, you know, when you go click on the websites. So that's just my 2 cents for the radio here on that.
Actually, I'd like to thank you guys for, you know, the different groups that work with the Firewise program. But, you know, every district has their own Firewise, it seems like, but the one in Kohala doesn't show up or contact us or nothing. So now that the job is done, we don't have a gate so we can get out of this fence area. And we don't know what the evacuation is planned. And yes, we did speak with the senator and the civil defense director, and he referred us back to the Firewise people. We got to find them first.
I thought they were.
And this lady Elizabeth Pickett or whatever, she's not replying either. So I don't know where we are.
That's HWMO, yeah.
Yeah.
Firewise.
So we can sure use some help. Thank you.
Well, Judge, also thank you for organizing that talk story last month with Senator Tim Richards and the Civil Defense.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I wasn't able to attend, but that was during the middle of the day and I just couldn't break away from that. So, but
Yeah.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah, it was very enlightening and a great meeting. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Any other Zoom testimony or in person? Anybody? Okay. All right, well, we'll move on to our business. And the time is 5:21. And the committee will now move on to business item 1, which is the election of committee chairperson and vice chairperson for the year 2025. Committee will now nominate and elect the chair and vice chair. So, is there anyone who would like to provide testimony who has not already done so?
I'd like to say that it's supposed to be a 2-year.
A two-
Both of you.
A 2-year term, huh?
Right. Christine?
Um,
It's been working well that way, so I would recommend that the chair and the vice chair.
Nominated.
They're nominated. The same position.
So may I ask for motion to nominate? Tristy
I'm-
as.
I second that
Tristy itself.
vigorously.
Okay. Okay, so, let's see, and, seconded. Is there any other discussion on that? And,
I have a little more discussion. No, are you gonna go before me? Go ahead.
I'd like to make a nomination for Scott as chair for Action Committee.
yeah, I'm pretty good where I am.
The thing I wanted to say is that the consistency is very important now because we have the community involved. And that was one thing that was missing for a long time. And we were sitting there trying to figure out if we were gonna get something done, but there wasn't any backing. So we're on a roll, so let's keep it going in that direction. What are you trying to do? You want me to nominate you for chair? Christie?
I guess, but I have been nominated and I have been seconded, so I was putting the motion to nominate Scott.
Okay.
So all in favor for Tristy for chair for this 2025?
Right.
Tristy, you're chair.
You gotta
And
ask
then-
me if I accept the nomination.
Can't hear you.
I accept.
We didn't hear that. Okay, and so vice chair, any nominations there?
I nominate you, Scott.
I second.
Oh, third right here, double second.
And any other comments on that or,
Second.
okay, and then, so all in favor?
Aye.
So,
I
Okay, any nays?
Voting.
Okay, so,
I have one thing to say about it.
yes,
By having this structure the way it is now, and you have spending a lot more of your time on the important issues that are here. She gets to spend her time on the organization of back in New York at this point, which is kind of the reverse, is really gonna help the CDP get moving. So thank you for accepting that.
thank you very much.
Do you accept?
Yes, this year. So we'll go on from there. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll just move on to our next point of business here, which is testimony at the state legislature regarding HRS 92, which is regarding the Sunshine Law. And we have some guest speakers here today from the Kohala Community Development Plan Action Committee. And we would like to turn some time over to them.
Can I speak from here? Can Al hear me?
Can everybody?
Here?
Could you go there and see that, okay? I can bring up the chair over for you now, if you want to sit. Yes. If you'd like to talk to the group strategy, let us know.
Maybe if you can introduce yourselves to the group and. Thanks. We need.
Hello, hi, everybody.
Hello.
Nice to come and visit another CDP Action Committee. My name is Nancy Pasicchio, and I'm a member of the Kohala Community Development Plan Action Committee. And for the sake of this discussion, I want to point out that many years ago, I was also two-term member of the Hawaii County Council. And the reason I'm letting you know that is because I'm very familiar with issues regarding Chapter 92 and the Sunshine Law. So I want to try to give you a kind of background of where this all came from. We're very familiar with all the obstacles regarding Chapter 92. And I understood when I was on the county council why you needed them, because you didn't want people making deals for approving budgets or writing laws, in a closet. You needed everything out in the open. But then you get to CDP action committees, advisory committees, where we're supposed to be interacting with the community and we're supposed to be more spontaneous, and we find we can't do it. And so we started doing more research, and over in City and County of Honolulu, they have neighborhood boards. And if you read their version of Chapter 16, their code, the description of what their purpose is very similar to the action committee purposes, but they've been in existence for almost 50 years.
They have neighborhood what?
Boards.
Okay.
Yeah, there are about 33 of them on City and County of Honolulu right now that are active, just because they have such a huge population,
Yeah.
but they're district oriented like we are, but they're smaller districts, a higher density population. But they got very frustrated with Chapter 92. And before our action committees actually existed, they lobbied the state legislature to amend Chapter 92. And I didn't know this, but we just sort of stumbled upon it. In 2008, an amendment was made to Chapter 92, and it's Chapter 92.81-8 to 83 that gives a separate section just for neighborhood boards. And John's going to explain to you the benefits of that. But so last year we introduced legislation. Drew Kanuha, senator, introduced the bill to try to. The problem with the neighborhood boards definition in Chapter 92 is it's just as neighborhood boards, but that term only exists in City and County of Honolulu. So we don't want to change our name to neighborhood boards. So the language in the bill didn't look like it applied to us. But if you read the language, it says neighborhood boards in City and County of Honolulu or other county. So it's obvious that it was intended to, but they were the only show in town in 2008. And so I talked to Senator Kanuha, and we talked to our action committee members, and we said, why don't we try to draft something just to tweak the neighborhood board section of Chapter 92. So the rest of the state could fall under it more easily. And so with the very last minute of the legislative session, Senator Kohala introduced the bill. And the title of the bill was something to do, I think it says neighborhood boards, and it got stuck in committee because it really didn't have anything to do with neighborhood boards per se. So the chairman of one of the committees deferred it because he said you have to retitle it. But you can't retitle a bill in the middle of the legislative session, so it got deferred till this session. So it's being reintroduced under a new term. I think it's like community, what is it? Community outreach boards. It's a new definition for that section of the code to make it more generic so it could apply to similar committees around the state. And it's being introduced again by Senator Kohala in the Senate and Representative Kohala in the House. And it's not numbered yet. They apparently the numbers for both the House and Senate will be out tomorrow night. And so they're definitely being introduced, and it provides, so that's kind of the history of how this thing whole transpired. But do you think I gave enough background?
Yeah.
So why don't you explain exactly the differences between 92 and the neighborhood board section and what our advantages would be if we could fall under it?
Yeah, so aloha kako, I'm John, I'm a committee member on the Kona CDP Action Committee. There's a lot of really nice benefits, and kind of the theme of it is it improves the flexibility of the community development plan action committees and the way they can interact with the public to be more outreach focused, to benefit that kind of outreach aspect, which we think is a really important part of the CDP ACs. A few things are, may a board hear testimony or presentations without quorum. Right now we can't, and we've had situations where we fail to have quorum, people show up and want to present things to us, and everyone has to go home, right, because we don't have quorum. If this bill gets passed, you can't have meetings without quorum, you just can't make decisions. Public can give input. We can hear public input on matters that aren't on the agenda, right? Because right now you have to publish the agenda a week ahead of time. And that's kind of really the only thing that people can testify on is stuff that's on the agenda. In this case, people can bring things that are concerns to them in the community that aren't necessarily on the agenda, things that maybe we don't know about, and can't speak on that to us.
But we can't vote on it. You have to,
Yeah.
you can take the input, but you can't vote.
Right.
Yeah, but you can still have that, hear the input, and report it at the next meeting. Another thing that came up is, or another thing that is improved is that we can attend other meetings, one that came up for us was the Kona Open Space Network had a meeting that we wanted to attend. And that had to be fully agendized, and as in Kona CDP meetings that more than 2 or 3 of us, or maybe more than 2 of us have attended. In this case, as long as the meetings aren't directed at us or for us, then people from the CDP ACs can attend these meetings. So information meetings like Open Space Networks 1, maybe water meetings, things that are outside of the CDPs you can attend and get information on. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, that was always a problem on the council, it was like, well, they can't be more than 2 of you, and so this would loosen that up so that we wouldn't have to worry about that. You could all show up and not say, oh, we're violating the sunshine law. So the neighborhood boards, I guess, probably were having all these same issues. And so, and as far as I'm concerned, I think it's hard to get public participation because of the restricted nature of the way the meetings are run. And I feel, and the only reason why I decided to get back on the CDP Action Committee was to try to get more public involvement, to have it sort of a two-way information, not just to be providing information to the public, but also encourage the public to come with issues that they think are important and have it more, not so restrictive. And they can come and they can say, we really have something really important to talk to you about. No, it's not on the agenda, but we'd like to tell you about it. And then if, the committee feels it's significant, they can put it on the next agenda if it's something that needs to be voted on. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so we voted to support it the last legislative session, and we voted again to support it this one, and we kind of went floating. We voted because to write testimony, you have to wait until it gets heard in a committee, if it gets heard in a committee. And then we authorized you, to write a testimony for it, actually, at the last meeting. So whenever the bill, if it gets heard at a committee, Nancy will write a letter for us, that will get signed by the chair. We authorize her to do that.
Yeah, I think we have a draft letter written from last year already.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. We were just gonna change the date
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
We have
yeah.
the letter written, we just have to update it with the new bill numbers. This is the draft, but it doesn't have the bill numbers, but this is basic. It does very little tweaking to the current section of chapter 92 in order to make it more applicable statewide. So this is what the section of chapter 92 would be amending in order to include us in the loop for this additional flexibility. And so if you guys are interested in supporting it, if you decide you want to do that, then I can get the information in terms of when the bill is posted, I can email it to staff or whatever, so you guys can decide whether you want to submit testimony or not.
So Christian, who's against this? Like, why would people be against this?
I don't know if anybody's against it. I think that there are some people that are very defensive about the sunshine law, and they think that somehow nothing should be done, without a quorum. And I mean, I think it's possible common cause might feel, it's real important when you talk to people about it to make them know that this isn't the regular part of the regulatory sunshine law that we're trying to amend. And when I met with Representative Kohala, I told her in advance, I said, it's really important that you understand as a representative in the House of Representatives that we're not going to take the open meeting part of the county council meetings away, and that you have to be prepared because there's some people that are very paranoid about that.
Right.
I think there's some people that think the House of Representatives and Senate should be a sunshine law. It'd be really hard for them. So there's some people that are very emotional about sunshine law.
Right.
So I think once people understand who this is for, in fact, I would say that all advisory only board should have this opportunity, but right now it's specifically this CDP type meeting, so the neighborhood board is similar.
Yeah, if I remember last year, there was a lot of positive testimony, I think, for it. And the only reason it died was because of what Nancy said. It was a administrative titling issue. And that was all that was discussed in committee was, I don't agree with this title, so the chair.
Because they said, what does this have to do with neighborhood boards? Well, actually, it doesn't have any, but that's the section of chapter 92 is titled, so.
Yeah.
And you fixed the titling?
Yeah.
The title,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it'll be called community outreach board this time.
And Nancy worked with Senator really.
Okay.
Those two people have been really instrumental in this, but the title's been updated with what they hope is a better title. Yeah, that will make it through.
Have you approached other CDPs on the island?
Oh, well, you're our first
The first
stop.
one,
We're
yeah.
gonna
Okay.
hit everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. great.
Because
The more we get, if we can get all the CDPs on the island to support it, the better chance that we have of getting the
yeah,
bill.
I mean, I don't see a downside at all. But I have a question about this. Did you rename the pig so we're not calling it a pig anymore?
Some committees call them pigs.
Okay, but doesn't that allow for 3 members to be involved?
That's just,
3 to 4.
Yeah, okay, so there is a way to, at least get more participation.
Yeah, and we've tried that route before and we've been told it's, I don't remember it was before.
Very
It's
restrictive.
still restrictive in the way it works. You have to, have something you want to accomplish and report back at the next meeting, and then that pig dissolves, right? So
Yeah,
we had a couple more open-ended ones that we started, and I think Corporation Council told us that they weren't valid, and so we had to dissolve them. And so, you can work with one other person and not bring sunshine law, which is why Nancy and I are here today. But yeah, beyond that, the pigs are there, but they're still.
So if there were 3 of you here, we wouldn't be able to.
No, not under the current law,
Right.
but if this bill passes, then it would be fine.
And do you need the support from other islands as well for this?
I don't think I think the CDP action committees and the neighborhood boards in city and county, as far as the research I've done, we're the only ones that have similar committees that are sort of meet this description.
okay.
If you read chapter 16 and what the role of CDP action committees are, and you read the comparable section of City and County of Honolulu code, it's a very similar description, but I don't think Maui has anything similar.
Okay.
And I think the downside is that if you start getting a lot of the public just coming in, the chair has more to challenge running the meetings. I would say that's probably the biggest. We had a meeting on Tuesday and we had something to do with the general plan on our agenda. All these people came to talk about the general plan that really didn't have anything to do with our specific agenda item, but we probably had, I don't know how many people showed up, but we had like 2 hours of testimony and we like ran out of time for our agenda items. So our chairman was very nice. He didn't make anybody stick to any time limits, but so I think that would be the downside. If you go 30 people show up, you'd have to maybe put a time limit.
But I think that's a rare circumstance.
Yeah.
And it's kind of,
Yeah.
the general
It's the
plan
agenda.
triggers a lot of,
Put it under an other category and then put a time limit to help the chair.
But I'd really like to see more community participation and to feel that they could, it's two-way information. And I think the neighborhood boards do a really good job of this. They've got the administration over there trained so that that representatives of public works and fire and police come to their meetings and give reports every month and, and also bills that are germane to their districts. The planning director, somebody in the planning department comes and updates them first. They get the first, so they don't have any regulatory vote, but they get to give input and I think we could build CDPs, to have a similar and get more people to come and say, what's going on now? I'd love that if people would come to our meetings and share, and it teaches us, what maybe we need to tell the council of things that need to happen instead of operating in this vacuum.
That's fair.
Thank you.
So, Chair, I don't see any downside to us wanting to be kept abreast of what's going on and get it on our next agenda. So we have-
If you wait 2 months, it may be too late to vote. I mean, if you want to support it, maybe you should
That's what I was
vote
gonna ask.
today.
But-
Because, first hearing could be at any time.
yeah.
And if you want to support it, you kind of have to be ready to submit testimony. If you wait, if you miss next month's meeting and it's kind of like, the train has already left the station, so to speak.
I make a motion to support it.
I'll second.
I second. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Bill.
We'll miss the boat.
Okay, so, and this is a motion to
Support.
show support for this Senate bill or.
The non-numbered Senate bill.
Is it the Senate bill or H?
Well,
It's
there's,
the Senate and House. This is
Yeah.
the Senate draft, but the House
Okay.
draft companion bill is identical.
Okay.
I'm too bad we didn't
It'll go
get the
back to
numbers yet.
The other
And
side.
you will get.
As soon as I get them, as soon as we get them, we'll email them to you guys or to staff.
how do we plug that in so that we can actually label it at a later date?
And so we can probably refer to it. Like it is on the agenda item. The draft bill that's going through the state legislature regarding HRS 92, sunshine law.
Yeah.
Is the letter you guys are wanting to submit?
Okay, so we need to
Or
submit a
the-
letter or what
Verbal
do we
test-
need?
written
What do you
testimony?
need?
Yeah, so the way we did it was where we have a letter already written and we're gonna submit that as testimony if it gets heard. That's.
Give us a
And then-
sample.
That goes.
Yeah, I've said a few samples actually, because it started last year, so. I've written this personally and our action committee sent testimony, so I can send you a couple of
Yes, that'd be
examples.
great.
And it sort of explains the process too.
We would need, once you get the Senate bill and the House bill and stuff, then we could actually, and a draft, a sample of what you have over there, we could actually draft something to be prepared.
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on. The staff is, when we get the bill numbers, they're gonna send our draft out. Well, actually, it's premature because the meeting hasn't been scheduled yet, but we're gonna, after we get the bill numbers, then we'll have it ready to go when we get the notice that there's gonna be a hearing. And I've been staying on, last year I stayed on top of the hearing notices and Senator Kanuha's office was really good about keeping us notified when something was coming up, so it'll be sort of labor intensive, but as long as somebody's willing to do it and I'm willing to do it to keep on top of it, so we don't miss opportunities to testify.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Does anybody have any comments? Just wanted to ask.
In discussion?
Any,
Member of the public want to comment? Nancy?
Yeah, I'd like to know what bill number 2. I just looked on the website for the capital and under all of the bills that. The Senator who has introduced a ton of bills, but I don't see that title yet.
He said, he didn't think it would get posted till Friday night. he
Yeah,
told
yeah.
me.
So, yeah, as an individual, I'd be interested and I'll try looking for that title, Community Outreach Boards, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, relating to Community Outreach Boards. So I'm gonna look
that's
for
what
that,
it'll be,
because I can, yeah.
You-
One extra copy.
if you take it.
Thank you.
Nancy, I'll keep you posted as well.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's, I emailed, the Senator Cuba's office and also Representative Capella's office, and they both told me they didn't think the numbers would get posted until Friday night.
Yeah. Things. Thank you for the information.
It is gonna be impactful because the way that we were taught with this sunshine law is if you were at an outing, it didn't matter what, and there was third person that was on a CDP showed up, somebody has to leave. Even if it's a, the Willy Willy Festival or something, it's a non-community, like talking about the optics aren't inappropriate for 3 people from a subcommittee to be together anywhere.
And I guess from before I got back on the action committee, I heard that at least for the Kona CDP action committee, they've been sort of running sort of slack, and then Corp Council kind of came in and yes, exactly. And I think our first general plan meeting, and maybe it was last summer, I got sick and I couldn't come and they lacked quorum, and the staff from the planning department came over to give a presentation and they shut the whole thing down. It was terrible, and I felt terrible because I was the reason.
Yeah. That's kind of.
Well, thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah. We'll do our part.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you for your support on these.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, John.
thank you very much.
Touchdown.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
So we'll get to work on that.
And Miriam and staff were really helpful with all this stuff as well. So,
Thank you, Nancy and John, for your supporting committee and the action committees and your guys' research and the time and effort you guys have put into this and making it more eventful and effectiveness for our voices of the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for your support.
So we'll get to work on that. All right, so right now, I'm gonna ask if any action committee members have any items they would like to have agendas. Yeah, agendas, put on the
Put
agenda.
on the
Put on the
agenda.
agenda. For a future meeting. And,
I do. I'd like to give an update, the Quilico sewer project next meeting.
Actually, I was trying to get in touch with you about that. I wanted to take a look at that. So,
That's me.
that next, okay.
Yeah.
And then, we don't have to vote on that, right?
You're just looking for
Should it
agenda.
just be on the
Agenda items.
No, we don't vote on
Okay,
it.
okay, all right. Okay, and then the other one, I would like is, the water resources for South Kohala. Specifically Waimea right now, but, moving on to different areas. We are actually having a meeting, a community meeting that I'm being a part of, as well as Hawaiian Civic Club. If you wanted to introduce yourselves real quick.
Yeah. Hi, everybody, I'm Edith, who I am the president of the Waimea Hawaiian Civic Club. While Lee Dixon, my husband, has been there like decades longer than I have, and is on our board, and so we wanted to come down and listen, of course, but to also remind people that we should have a beginning session relating to Waimea's water. It's going to be with respect to the resources, Waimea water resources, and for this installation, the County Department of Water Supply will be providing a presentation and an informational session for us with the ability to ask, to respond to questions. So we're asking that people come between 5 and 7 January 22nd, if you haven't seen the announcement, I guess I can ask for a sneaky copy of this over there, and send it out to you. Scott
I
is
do.
helping us on the county side, much mahalo to him. This is a first, and so we're kind of feeling our way. And finding that there's not only a lot of interest, but a lot of need as well. So we hope that there's a lot of enjoyment. And this will be at the Fall on the 22nd of January. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thinking you out to the water supply here in my water district to go. Hopefully they'll attend.
But what we're looking at is having the community, be informed about, our water system, how it works, and, how we can work at, being, sustainable, agriculturally and for our developments also. So it's, education for the community and for the purpose of being sustainable.
This is a result from our past meeting that we had up in Waimea. And a lot of the comments and the concerns from the community all stem to the water situation and the resources that we have, and if you know, if all the concerns that seem to be popping up about that. So that's why this is starting out here. Yeah, we'd like to see Waikoloa do that too. I've kept in touch with them, and they seem to be very open for things like that, so.
I have this question. Given Elizabeth and John's last presentation, so can only 2 of us attend that meeting?
Oh, because it's not, I mean, this
It's
hasn't
a
been,
sunshine violation.
Yeah.
um,
Could more than 2 of us attend the water meeting?
So this is where you're gonna have different interpretations by council,
Right,
but with the idea that you guys are attending as community members and not trying to represent the action committee and
Yeah.
speak on in that way, and that you are discussing board business or future board business with one another at this event.
Yeah.
Then you should be fine under most interpretations of sunshine.
okay.
Permitted.
as a community member.
I think that's what a mustache and mustache.
Yeah.
You're still on, agenda items, you just, aren't you,
Agenda,
on 5?
Yeah, collecting agenda items.
but, yes,
You're still on
I'm sorry,
5?
yes,
Okay, because I'd like to add an update
okay,
on activities in, Waimea especially, but, north of Hawaii, on, honk applications and honk identifications for the 2% fund for presentation, because there's been some activity that we've done in that area that we want people to be aware of. So we'd like to update, and we also are looking for people to want to get involved in certain things that need to be submitted to try to protect resources and protect heritage and all of that. So I'd like to do an update on that, or Pete and I will do an update.
Who's the chair of that now?
You, Bill?
What's that?
Who's the person in charge now? The same woman who's been in charge?
Paul, who's in charge of Paul? You know,
What's his name? It's the,
So it's a guy now, it's not the lady.
yeah, no, he handles the PONC itself, both the applications, the suggestions and the maintenance. And the funding and stuff like that, but I don't know whether we will try to get him to come and talk. Or whether we will just update some of the things we've done. I just want to get it on the agenda.
Okay,
And then we can work from there. That's not a bad idea to see if we can't get him out there to talk. And if not, we'll get some explanation or
I
something.
might help them see, like, If he's actually there. Same.
Well, he's just the administrator. It's still, it's a commission.
Yeah.
Punk is a commission, so.
Yeah, it'd be good because I tried to get land here and it was quite arduous and I got no help from anybody.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Well, I mean, you know, put it on the agenda, then we start trying to make it work. Yeah,
I'm down.
because I think, I'm not sure about the inventory, but I think there's 2 Punk applications in Waimea that suggestions that were accepted. To date, I don't, you know, but it's kind of, most people don't understand it, and now's the time to do it.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
Maybe tell them what punk is.
Yeah.
Public,
Punk
tell 'em, I
is,
don't know
but
what-
you can't call it those?
I don't know what the acronym stands for.
public outdoor, community spaces.
Yeah, it's mostly community space.
Yeah.
You want community space.
Community space. What's the?
I don't have my notes with me.
Public access, open space and natural resources preservation fund.
That's a mouthful.
Public outdoor.
I guess that's why they have names in the acronym, so.
Good idea.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm finished with what I wanted to have you put on there.
You know, another item that we could discuss, it would be nice, is that the county did a big water flooding study. There was a study done on the flooding.
The, you know,
And I think that was turned into the county by the contractor, and it'd just be really great to get a presentation on that sooner than later. I don't know if the next meeting or maybe it's the meeting after that, but just the whole flooding control.
You want the contractor to come or DPW?
DPW, I guess, whatever would be most, I would leave it to DPW to say what they thought would be most
I think that's
appropriate.
from the state and DHL.
Pardon me?
I think that was from the state and DHL.
That was money that Cindy Evans put in and they had to quadruple it because I was pushing for it. We had flooding.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's that whole,
Yeah.
Waimea, Waikoloa,
Yeah.
that whole,
Right.
the flooding down.
Yeah,
Our,
I have a schedule. I think it's not supposed to be completed until like 2025, late 2025 or 2026. I was keeping up with Steve Housey on it.
I think they have a preliminary, but anyway, it'd be just be nice because
Yeah.
we're still getting flooding.
Yeah.
The water's still flowing.
It's lazy. They don't want.
So-
Where is that?
So that would be 3 agenda items plus the update on the follow-up for the community meeting for the water, and then the update for the Kailapa. So I think we're full on agenda items for now. So there'll be about what, 5 or 6 on the next meeting? Because I think we'll have the follow-up meeting also for the bill for the Sunshine Law one. So there'll be 6 agenda items maybe. What do you think?
Tell me,
Delicious.
No, the agenda items for next time. No. Okay, so 6 items, right? Any other ones for anybody online? Tristy, do you have any? No.
No, bad, that'll be too long already now, just okay. I think we'll take in consideration what Jojo has mentioned about her testimony portion. So we're gonna work that in somewhere on the next agenda.
I love Now, all these things are starting to be water here. Okay. Okay, so there's nothing else, just have the announcements. And so, yeah, and there's a community meeting on next Wednesday, January 22nd. And that's co-sponsored by the Waimea Hawaiian Civic Club and the Mauna Kea Education and Awareness. And it'll be a presentation by the Department of Water Supply. And that'll be from 5 to 7 p.m. at Monte Christian Ohana. Right across from Kohala Theater. You don't know where that is.
Here you go, Waller.
Right here on the wall. Yeah. Okay, and we do appreciate that, all the effort that Wyoming Hawaiian Civic Club has been putting into this. And organizing.
I wanted to second that, Scott. Mahalo to the Hawaiian Civic Club for pushing this. I wanted to confirm if the DWS guy is gonna be there. Is there gonna be a confirmed representative? Do we have a
Yes.
name?
Yeah,
Okay,
Kavika, yeah, he is. I forget his last name, but Kavika, he's the deputy superintendent for the Department of Water. And so he's like in the engineering department, who's knows the ins and outs of this area, so. If there's any questions you have, he can probably answer that, so it'd be good to be able to hear him speak there. Again,
Thank
it's
you.
at Monte Christian Ohana, so. It is free. There's no admission price, so just come.
Is there a place where we can submit questions in advance or?
Yes, I can send you an email link on that too, or. Yeah, I will get that, you can submit questions in advance or, on location at there. There'll be some tables there. You can write down your questions and, it will be given to Kamika. So that you can do this question and answer session after his presentation. Yes.
We realize that there are going to be a lot of questions, and so we're working to collect them, those that we don't get to. We're trying to find a method of publishing responses. So.
Yeah.
Get on.
So hopefully we'll be able to answer all of the questions, or as
Yeah.
many questions as possible. And,
Is the meeting gonna be recorded? Is the meeting gonna be recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
And televised, I think we're working on it.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Awesome.
Miriam and the team are gonna be there,
We're gonna bring out.
Oh,
so,
yeah, we had that question, Scott had that question.
yeah, so. We just, just getting the Zoom, meeting codes, and then we should be set. Okay, and, so, and then just going back, there was a meeting in Kailapa, last month. With the talk story with Senator Tim Richards, and again, we're thankful for JoJo. It's not there, she's not there anymore, anyway, but she's been really a strong advocate for the Kailapa area. So we would like to thank her for her work.
Chair,
Yes.
when you go on to the next one, I'd like to take that.
Oh, okay, go right ahead.
The next one is the planning department is currently seeking applicants for the South Kohala Action Committee. And is requesting assistance to get the word out, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, is get the word out to interested community members. You can find the applications on the mayor's office website. And the reason why I picked this out is that I don't think, how many do we have now? Most of us are holdovers for eons. And what we really need is some new energy, spark, and groups to come in. And it doesn't have to be a whole host of them. What it needs is to be a refresher, maybe even generational. And I don't know what the way of doing it. I mean, we know JoJo's already applied, so we at least have one applicant.
Yeah. She served before on the committee when I was.
Yeah, oh yeah, but I mean, the bottom line is that usually it ended up being just the administration appointing people because they needed them in there, you know, they get it in their face and put them in there. But I think that we're at a point now where we're looking for community members that want to be the link for their community groups. Because this is a way to get tied into the administration having to listen to us. We're a conduit. And so it would be very helpful if we had at least one or two more people in here that could replace the one or two that have been around here for too many years. That means Pete Hendricks and myself. So it doesn't mean that we're dropping off, but the bottom line is we'd like to have coffee with people that might want to ask what it's about. The good news is that we get people like Scott who take action and become the champions on something, and we support that particular effort. So if somebody came in and they wanted, and they wanted to get something done with the CDP to get it moved along and read the whole manual of the things we're supposed to be protecting and accomplishing. That would be a real help because there would be a lot of support with other members to get that kind of stuff done. Kind of the way you guys did it with Kohala, and you're gonna have to repeat it again, I think. Anyway, that's my appeal, and the best way that I used to be able to get this happening is I didn't apply, but I went down and got somebody else's face and had them apply. So you go to all your friends and try to get them to be members for you. Hi.
Yes, please.
I do know there are at least 2 applications in at the present time, and there may be a third already, so yeah, we are getting.
Oh, good.
And I'm just gonna hitchhike on what I had brought up in the last minute in the meeting in October. That, we need to have the county councilors. I mean, it's clearly all over in our South Kohala trap and every one of the CDPs that, we have to be engaged with the counselor, because they can help move the meter because they're hearing it. We lacked that last few years, so and COVID didn't help, so.
Thank you, Scott, for stepping to the plate.
Thank you, Bill. Our last announcement is actually about the Waikoloa and Panaolo Avenue. Did you want to say something about that?
I just received the final EA and I haven't read it. It's, a few 900 pages, but it's pretty big. But from what I understand, the finance department, the prior administration, they had already approved the funding, but they haven't been able to move because they didn't get the final EA from I think Bill Collins. And so it just came out, and they're going to try to move to get the corner parcel on the northeast side so they can, and that's what is in the plan. They're gonna need that, and get that from someone, and it's a person who is gonna sell it, but he's been around for a long time, so there might be a little bit of issue there. I think they can, for meetings I've been to, they said that through eminent domain, that they might be able to do it if the person's unwilling to buy it. He's a longtime old developer that's kind of interesting, so a Russian guy. So anyways, but hopefully it'll move along. So overdue.
So it's going to be a roundabout.
It was anointed as a roundabout a long time ago, a couple of years ago. Mayor Roth had done a big Zoom for the whole community, and it actually predates Mayor Roth being in because Pete Hoffman had changed. He had changed it from a signalized intersection to a roundabout through a resolution 10 or 15 years ago. So sometimes that holds weight and it carries, and so they look at the resolutions, and so maybe that might have somehow had a little bit to do with the mindset of the county moving the bid out, but I think that Bill Collins did all the work on it, and it just level of service a few hours a day each day where it's gridlock. So we had an F from 6 to 9 a.m. because people were leaving to go to work and dropping off their kids, and then we have one from 3 to 6 p.m. But the rest of the day, you could shoot a cannon through the intersection. So, and an intersection with a light is just really inappropriate because of all the different directions that people have to move left, right, straight, and everybody be sitting at the light, snacking on a meal. waiting to go to the
And so
intersection.
this is completely a county project, not a state.
It's a county project.
Yeah.
It's a county,
So-
it's a county
So
project.
you're saying that they need to acquire a piece of ground to be able to do this? And that's what's holding up the ability to implement what's already been engineered and designed?
I guess that's what the county, they didn't go buy it and find out that, something didn't get approved or something, I don't know. They went by the Self Collins was the consultant. I think then they'll put it out to bid.
So who do we now have as a champion to get this moving?
Before,
I saw,
transportation had transitions, right? So Susan Coons led that with Tim Richards first came county council and there was a big push. But just like never have no motion to movement, right? Remember we had that meeting in Waikoloa cafeteria?
are you talking about on the intersection?
Yes,
The
on the,
roundabout?
yeah,
let me
remember
see
we
the-
had that Waikoloa meeting at the cafeteria? That was when I first came
Yeah.
on the actual meeting. And Susan Coons was
Yes.
Department of Transportation and had all of that movement and then public testimonies and then nothing happened after that. And now there's somebody else now in Department of Transportation. Maybe we can reach out to Lloyd. I see Lloyd Matsubara is there. Lloyd just got appointed, I believe, to the Department of Transportation Board. So maybe we can ask him for some resources and we'll use him and maybe kind of nitpick at that for an update as well.
This only had to do with taxi cab application and the area transit.
He's in charge of transit.
That's all.
Oh, I see.
Nothing to do with roads.
I think it's a Department of Public Works issue. It's under their dashboard. And I did happen to see Steve Palsy today when I was down at the West Hawaii Community Center. But he's not, he's got one foot on a banana peel, so. I don't know.
Thanks, Julia, for that.
Can help.
Maybe what we need to do is to figure out what is the access to get it moved to the next person that needs to look at it.
I think the next step is it's gonna go out to bid for contractors. So there's probably gonna be I don't know, 90 or however many days that they put it out for the bid, and then they approve the bid and so it gets going. But that's when Lloyd's gonna have to get in, because we're gonna have to figure out something about transportation.
My understanding is they try to get that parcel of that free. They don't wanna pay for it. They wanna do that.
Eminent domain.
Eminent domain.
I think
So
we
they
understand.
waited for something to expire so they can pursue the eminent.
Eminent domain.
Let's go find the
I think he
expiration
owes- I
date.
think the guy owes taxes. Anyway, I didn't. Go ahead.
That's the last I heard.
I would offer the suggestion to be in contact to see the status of this particular project at the present time. Might be your district council person, and that would be James Houston.
I talked to him.
I think he does have an update.
Now,
So I think if you contact him, he would be able to tell you about the meetings that he has had and what he has heard.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right.
He's also at the water commission meeting tonight in Kohala.
Just something kind of related, I was in the South Kohala was it traffic safety meeting? Traffic safety meeting a couple months ago, and I was in there, and the state transportation is also in transition as well. Their team here for the island, and so they are reevaluating some things like the Waimea proposed, no, well, that's another issue, but not the bypass, we didn't even get to there. The roundabout that was proposed for Parker School area, right there, quite high, and yeah, they got a lot of resistance to that, and so they are definitely gonna reevaluate that situation, basically because it's so close to the main intersection as well. They did also mention that the roundabout at Wyaka, yeah. They're in the final stages of that. They plan on breaking ground on that, fairly soon in the next couple months here. So, might be getting prepared to, yeah, for traffic issues there. Just because that is the only way to get there. So, so that's probably gonna be starting within the next couple months here. They got a final hurdle there, but it looks like that's gonna happen. Yeah. But yeah, for the traffic. Any other public input here, comments, or anything?
You gotta turn the page over there.
Turn page.
Yeah, we have the schedule now at meetings.
Yeah,
This one right here.
Okay.
right here. Oh,
They don't have the,
I got the schedule.
No, but they did send out a schedule. I got a
Yeah.
copy of the
I
schedule.
don't have it with me.
No, I don't have the schedule. We had first meeting
I got the
dates.
copy. I printed mine out from
Put it
home.
on the screen.
Oh, good, then tell us,
Printed mine out.
tell
When
us.
is
The next meeting is March 20th, Thursday. CDP location, I assume. I'm gonna tell you right now, May 15th, I will be on Oahu and will be able to attend.
March 20th, then would you say May
May
15th?
15th, July 17th, September 18th, and November 20th.
Are those all on Thursday?
March 20th, May 15th, July
He has
17th,
a question.
September 18th, and November 20th.
Okay.
They're tentative. There you
Those
go.
are all Thursdays now?
Grab your phone,
Yeah,
take a
Thursday,
shot,
Thursdays.
take a picture.
Oh, they're all Thursdays.
Yeah, I won't be able to attend it.
Actually, Thursdays are better for me than Mondays.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so now we're done.
Okay, yep, so, there's nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting and meeting is adjourned at 6:17.
What's the time?
6:17.
Just two things I want to make an announcement for the Cherry Blossom Festival will be on February 1st up in Waimea. And February 8th will be the Willy Willy Festival here in Kohala. So just community things that I wanted to let everybody know about.
Thank you.
February 8th is Makaliki 30-year festival at Baikuru.
Oh,
February 8th.
oh, wow, there's
Lots of
collision.
February 8th.
That's in the evening. Is that the one that's in the evening?
It's in the daytime.
Oh, oh, well,
Right.
Willy Willy should be doing theirs when they're blossoming.
Thank you so much.
To clarify for the record, going back to the business item regarding the bill at the state level. Was there any decision making?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
support it.
Decision making
You supported it.
Yeah.
to support it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion and a second.
I'm sorry,
There was a motion and a second to support.
Correct.
and supporting in which way to clarify? Like, are we submitting testimony to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
we're gonna
Yes,
do something
They're
similar to what
gonna,
they did.
you're gonna make your own version of what Nancy guys already submitted,
Yeah,
She'll share with her, yeah.
but we have to have the bill numbers too.
okay?
So,
Can we re-clarify that motion for the record?
Okay.
For
That mo-
sunshine.
so.
That was motioned by Bill. It was seconded
So-
by Julia.
Julia, yes.
And then can we have a vote? And the vote would be about,
Supporting,
that you wish to submit written testimony to the legislature.
In support of, That-
Replicating what Kona CDP AC already voted to submit. That it will be updated with the correct bill numbers once those are released.
yes,
Is that?
Community
Yes.
outreach boards replacing neighborhood boards.
Then
Language.
Scott, can you call?
okay, and all those in favor of that, the motion?
I,
Any opposed? Okay,
can I
here.
repeat what she said? What did we just?
I can't repeat that.
You did, everybody heard it, right?
Yeah.
That's on there.
Is that what you want to hear right here?
Okay, well, thank you all for coming tonight, taking the time to being part of this community.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
freezing.
Yeah, so we can step outside.
Thank you so much, everybody. Travel safely. Have a good night.
Have you
Aloha.
ever been to a city meeting they got?